Sunday at 3 p.m. on 5.
Christy Farley needed a new heart or she was going to die. Right now, there's a miracle in the making. I'm Judy Licht, and this is First Edition News.
Live from Channel 5 News in New York, this is First Edition News with Judy Licht and Jim Ryan and the staff of New York's most watched primetime newscast.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is 30 degrees and partly cloudy this Thursday noon. Remember last Valentine's Day when we told you about a 12-year-old girl who desperately needed a new heart in order to stay alive? Well, since that time, her family has been waiting, hoping and praying for the moment when a heart would become available. Well, their prayers were answered in the early hours this morning, and our own Dr. Joanna Shaw was there. We caution you, however, these medical scenes are explicit. Here's Dr. Joe.
At 10 minutes of 9 this morning, a new heart for 12-year-old Christy Farley was rushed by helicopter to Columbia Presbyterian Hospital. As word reached the operating room that the heart had arrived downstairs, surgeons removed her old heart. Below me right now, Dr. Rietzma is sewing in her new heart. A heart transplant was Christy's only chance at life. Her own heart had failed. She had waited 48 days for a donor heart.
My heart beats too fast. It's enlarged and the muscle's too thick. And there's hardly any cavity, so the blood can't flow through, and it doesn't get enough oxygen.
Without a heart transplant, we cannot expect her to survive.
This is her old heart in the metal bowl. The new heart arrives in a plastic bag, chilled to preserve it. The surgeons move it onto her chest to check the fit. It must be the right size and right blood type. The transplant takes several hours. I will bring you the full story tonight on the 10 o'clock news. At Columbia Presbyterian Medical Center, Dr. Joanna Shaw, Channel 5 News.
The FBI has conducted a forensic examination of the bottles in the Westchester Tylenol case and has concluded that the package was tampered with after the manufacturing process. That is, someone opened the package, laced the capsules with cyanide, then resealed the package in a way that was only detectable through sophisticated investigation. The latest conclusion reverses an initial finding that the bottles had not been tampered with. Meanwhile, today in Westchester, police are looking into an incident in which a teenage girl received 3 Tylenol capsules in the mail. They say it may just have been a sick prank.
7 stores in West New York's Bergen Line Avenue shopping district were destroyed by fire early this morning. 8 people were left homeless and 3 firefighters were hurt, one of them suffering a back injury when he fell through a skylight. It took 5 different fire departments more than 6 hours to get the flames under control, and they're still trying to figure out how the fire started.
Philippine President Corazon Aquino made good on one of her campaign promises today. She began freeing political prisoners from Philippine jails. Meanwhile, police arrested 9 people in an alleged plot to assassinate Aquino and Defense Minister Juan Ponce Enrile. The suspects are loyalists of deposed President Ferdinand Marcos.
And still ahead, the schools start teaching kids about AIDS.
And I'll have a special report on a top school official with a phony diploma. And Steve Dunlop will be live with a report from the governor's news conference.
The governor is issuing new guidelines for the state's criminal justice system in the wake of New York City's growing corruption scandal. I'll have that story.
There's never been a better time to buy carpet made at America's top mills. Because at 50% off our regular prices, I'm practically giving them away. Imagine carpets of today's most wanted fibers, installed in your home over genuine rubber padding, half priced at $9.99 to $12.99, Friday and Saturday. So come to Kaufman. Hurry, don't wait. It's not every day I give away carpet at half price and include padding and installation, too.
Kaufman, the carpet experts. We've got it all.
It's Suburban Furniture's $5.99 Package Plus Weekend. Suburban Furniture gives you the guaranteed lowest prices, plus the Suburban Advantage. Our latest selection of living room, bedroom, and dining room packages for $5.99. The guaranteed lowest prices, plus custom covering. free decorator assistance, free layaway up to 1 year, fabric protection plan, and quick, easy credit, all for $5.99.
Take the Suburban Advantage. New York's waking up to special values. Door at a King Food store.
Wake up to savings on Whisk laundry detergent, 64-ounce container, $2.89. Sunlight dishwashing liquid, 22-ounce container, 99 cents. And USDA Choice boneless roast beef. Choose top or bottom round or sirloin tip round, $1.79 a pound.
Hi, I'm Mr. Telephone. Picture this. You're a corporate mogul. A toll-free number appears on your screen. You call it and start using Metromedia long distance at your company. You get the same call as you would with AT&T, but for a lot less money. Oh boy. You take the money you save with Metromedia, you invest it wisely, and pretty soon you are so filthy rich that it's downright shameful. It could be you.
No one will ever forget the day she came into their lives.
I've been living with a family for 2 years. Taking care of them while I finish school. They're dead.
And your manipulations fascinating.
A family possessed by a caretaker of terror. William Shatner, John Houseman, Patty Duke Aston, Quinn Cummings, and Stephanie Zimbalist. There's no place to hide when the babysitter arrives.
Friday at 8 p.m. on Channel 5.
The first direct legislative result of the scandals that have gripped New York City in recent weeks is unfolding right now down at the World Trade Center. Governor Cuomo is unveiling a plan making it easier to prosecute corrupt public officials and members of organized crime. Steve Dunlop is down in Lower Manhattan right now with a live report. Steve?
Jim, Governor Cuomo revealed just moments ago that it was only 5 days ago that he asked his special criminal justice coordinator, Lawrence Kurlander, to meet with the state's top law enforcement officials to sound them out on the laws they're enforcing, specifically the laws dealing with how they enforce the laws, the grand jury system and laws of that kind. He got their opinions, and today he's holding a news conference with the top law enforcers to outline some changes that he's proposed in the way public officials and members of organized crime are prosecuted in New York State. The changes are as follows. Cuomo is calling for a change in the standard of convicting a public official for bribery. At the moment, a public official, before he's convicted of bribery, it must be proven that he had the power to do what he was being bribed for. That he would like changed. It will no longer be necessary to prove that a public official actually had the power to do what the money was supposed to get him to do. The second change is would lessen the immunity from prosecution for witnesses before a grand jury. At present, under the federal system, which New York State has adopted, witnesses before a grand jury have immunity unless previously stated that they don't. Cuomo would like to see that changed. The third change would allow a defendant in a criminal case to be convicted solely based on the testimony of an accomplice. At the moment, corroborating testimony is required. Cuomo would eliminate that restriction as well. The district attorneys, 5 of them, all 5 from New York City, are at Cuomo's press conference at the moment, and all of them apparently support these proposed changes. Jim, Judy, back to you.
Now, Steve, you have to wonder about the political ramifications of all this, the timing and all. Governor Cuomo, a possible candidate for president soon. None of these changes, as you outlined them, seem startling or specific, yet we have a big public relations effort there with the 5 DAs. How much of a public relations concern is this, do you think?
Well, as a matter of fact, Cuomo himself admitted that none of these proposals is really that new. Some of them, in fact, are years old. Is he trying to use this current atmosphere of corruption in the city as a lever to get these bills passed? Well, for his part, Cuomo says, "You're darn right I am." And he says that people who opposed these bills in years past now have to be even denser to oppose them under the present circumstances.
Okay, thank you very much, Steve. High school students throughout the city will have a new class to attend starting today, AIDS education. 6 teachers from each school have been trained to teach students everything they need to know about the disease. And parents who don't want their children attending the classes can have their kids excused. Jim.
Judy, among all the problems faced by Queensborough President Donald Maness recently was the charge that his wife's Ph.D. was from an unaccredited school. Well, if Marlene Maness is the holder of a worthless degree, she is not alone. The FBI has been trying to solve the problem of diploma mills in this country for the past 5 years. They call their investigation DIP Scan. And so far, it has shut down 22 institutions that handed out more than $2 million in phony diplomas between 1979 and 1984. The holders of these worthless degrees include a former White House worker, Pentagon employees, and more than 2,000 others. Their names were all on lists compiled by the FBI. I checked through those lists to see if any worthless degrees were held by people in our area. They were. Marvin Aaron is the superintendent of Community School District 27 in Ozone Park, Queens. He has chief administrative responsibility for 29 elementary schools and 6 junior high or intermediate schools. Board of Ed records list his salary at $71,000 a year. According to court records filed by the FBI, Aaron received a doctorate philosophy degree in education back in December 1983 from Southwestern University. That institution has since been shut down by the FBI. Its operators are in jail for fraud. I called Aaron several times to ask for an interview. He never returned my phone calls. But then, ironically, it was he who summoned reporters to his office. He wanted to talk about a decision in his district to bar children with AIDS from the classroom. He seemed surprised when I brought up the problem about the degree.
I noticed that you have a PhD after your name.
Yes, sir.
Where did the PhD come from?
So from the university.
Which one?
Well, it's Southwestern's. It's being questioned presently. I don't want that to go on the air.
Well, you hid a list.
I know that.
That the FBI put
That's
out.
right. I have that whole list. My attorney has said to make no comment about this at the present time. I'm well aware of that.
It must be said that the people who work closely with Aaron have a continuing respect for him.
He's probably one of the hardest working men that I know. I would recommend him to any Board of Education within the confines of the United States.
I must indicate that Dr. Aaron presented the entire matter to the school board, and the school board considered it and felt, as I do, that it had absolutely no bearing on his competency as a superintendent. He had been serving in the position for many, many years, and there is no New York City requirement along those lines anyway.
I applied with transcripts from my graduate work, which I had the total amount of credits. I had to write a thesis. I had to submit documentation. I submitted reports. I received a transcript. I had dialogue by phone with a faculty representative. I paid an exorbitant fee, etc. I went through a year and a half of this.
Start to finish, it took me 10 years.
Dr. David Jackson is an assistant superintendent in the White Plains school system. He holds a doctorate in education from Columbia Teachers College.
In addition to the coursework, at 3 credits a course, that would be 30 different courses. I had to initially write what was called a qualifying paper and take an exam. That was at the point when I was finished with the coursework and was about to begin writing my dissertation.
This was a building in Arizona, a legitimate university with bulletins and papers.
Did you ever go there?
No, I did not. No, because this is done as other universities. I have other papers.
Isn't that a little unusual to accept a PhD from a university and never set foot in the place?
Today they have universities all over the state and all over the country, sponsored by Harvard University, sponsored by others. In fact, I'm building the papers for the attorney to show. So I can show you those in my briefcase presently.
I would be concerned if a person went through a process and obtained a degree without significant amounts of time and effort.
I broke many a Saturday and Sunday appointment and worked on a thesis and worked on a project and so forth and mailed it in good faith. And was I flammed? Did I buy a diploma? I don't think so.
As superintendent, Aaron is ultimately responsible for the educational standards and performance in his district. He must make sure the students and the teachers aren't flamming. Yet it was he who attempted the academic shortcut, and he wasn't alone.
You got a story. There are other people. I hear there are about 18 or 19 of us in the Board of Education that got caught up in this thing.
If there are 18 or 19 other holders of phony degrees in the city school system, we couldn't find them. Then again, we were forced to work through the board's own public relations office. However, we are continuing to look into the holders of phony degrees in this area. There are dozens of them, and we'll have further reports.
And coming up, our continuing series on women and divorce.
And today, some advice for women on trying to ease the trauma.
Sign any pieces of paper. Pieces of paper can be used as very powerful evidence against her.
Notice, all Americans aged 65 and over. If you are on Medicare, you are urged to pay special attention to the most recent changes in your current coverage. Your initial Medicare Part A deductible, the part you must pay yourself for the first day in the hospital, has been raised to $492. Your Medicare copayments, the part you must pay yourself for extended hospital stays, have been raised 23%. You must pay more out of your own pocket now than before Medicare began. That's why a national toll-free hotline has been set up to provide access to guaranteed Medicare supplement benefits to help you pay the bills Medicare doesn't. If you or your spouse do not have these Medicare supplement insurance benefits, call now for the free information you're entitled to. Call 1-800-453-4810. 1-800-453-4810. This is a free phone call, and so is the information. 1-800-453-4810.
The new issue of TV Guide features an intimate profile of Linda Evans. Ms. Evans is so convincing as Dynasty's Crystal Carrington that it's hard to separate the actress from the role. And once upon a time, she was very like Crystal. But these days, her life is no longer centered around a man. And like a lot of less famous women, she's struggling with personal growth and independence. Meet an actress who's clearly not Crystal anymore in the new issue of TV Guide.
Tango Argentino, so elegant, exciting, explicit, explosive, passionate, provocative, daring, so sexy. Tango Argentino, the smash Broadway hit, now in its last weeks prior to a national tour. This is your last chance at the Mark Hellinger Theater. Call charge at 944-9300 for tickets. Tango Argentino, let yourself go.
If you've ever been through a divorce, you know how devastating it can be, both emotionally and financially. For the past few days, Barbara Laskin has been looking into the question of divorce and how it affects women in particular. Today, Barbara has some practical advice on picking up the pieces.
I have no idea what is fair, what isn't fair, what I'm due, what I'm not due. And let's face it, finances, salary, everything is something none of us talk openly about.
I think that if women took a greater interest, not for planning for divorce, I just think they should take a better interest during the marriage so that they themselves know what's going on, know what they're living on. Then obviously there wouldn't be such a frenzy at this time of emergency.
Sheila Boyajian, divorced twice, knows about financial frenzy, though she hides it well.
Hi, glad to see you.
See what we need.
To make ends meet, she works 2 jobs. Monday to Friday, she's here at ICL, a Stamford, Connecticut computer company. Every Saturday and every other Thursday night, she's waitressing.
Having 4 children, there never seems to be enough.
She has 2 college-age children from her first marriage, and she has David and Amy from her second.
Amy, you didn't have homework tonight, did you?
Nope.
You doing in school?
Yeah.
Their father, Warren, from whom she's been divorced nearly 4 years, helps out with the kids when she waitresses at night. He pays $100 a week in child support. 3 years ago, she agreed to sell the marital home in which she lives with her children and divide the profits with Warren. She is unhappy with that deal now, and the future scares her.
I live in Fairfield County. You know, I make under $30,000 a year. Who's going to give me a mortgage with 4 kids? I mean, it's humorous, almost, you know. I'm worried.
In many ways, though, Boyajian is lucky. She likes her job. She has her determination. But matrimonial attorney Sherry Targoff says many others aren't so lucky, largely because they're unprepared for what lies ahead.
A man comes in and I would say most times knows what he wants. He has very firmly in his mind what he can afford to pay and what he wants to pay and what he will settle for. And he has an end in his mind, and he will, he will go along with the means to get to that end. A woman comes in, sometimes she doesn't even know what the finances were in the marriage. She has no idea. Her husband has always done the bills. Her husband has done the income tax returns. She might have signed joint income tax returns and never even really looked through them. She really doesn't even know what she needs to live on sometimes.
Harriet Cohen, president of the New York Women's Bar Association, says a woman better know what's happening financially, if for no other reason than one day she may end up alone. Her first step should be to hire a good attorney and not sign anything without checking it first.
She shouldn't sign any pieces of paper. Pieces of paper can be used as very powerful evidence against her.
Next, Cohen offers the same advice to women that she does to men.
See to it that you have the financial documents at hand. She should put together what her true budget needs have been. How much has she spent in the family over a period of a year, 2 years, 3 years? In that way, she'll be able to show what her standard of living has been for herself, the children.
Unless the husband and wife can reach a settlement out of court, it is the judge who will decide how marital property is to be divided. For that reason, say the experts we spoke to, both parties must be able to present their case and know the facts. Here are the suggested steps they should take. Find a good lawyer. Know your financial position. Copy all relevant documents, including tax returns and any other business items. Don't sign anything in haste. Put together a budget. Talk to people who have gone through this. You'll find you're not alone.
If I were to do it over again, yes, I would do it over again, but a lot differently. I would think about the future of my children, schooling, where I was going to live, and not be so easy to agree, and just settle to have it over and done with.
I'm Barbara Laskin for First Edition News.
Tomorrow, Barbara looks at how one woman is coping with the aftermath of divorce and learning how to enjoy her new life as a single.
And still ahead on First Edition News, what's the chance of more snow? Stay tuned. We'll have the full AccuWeather forecast.
And the Red Men win the color war. Steve McPartland, the man's Julio Iglesias, is here with the sports.
Thank you very much. Yes, Big Red came up with a big win in the Big East, while the Islanders lost to those pesky little Devils in Jersey.
Hello, I'm Harry Morgan. I'd like you to meet a very special lady. She's Virginia Aubrey, and she's president of the National Alliance of Senior Citizens, a nonprofit organization dedicated to serving the needs of folks over 50. Recently, the NASC has worked very hard to come up with a way for people over 50 to help protect their savings and provide financial security for their families. Tell us why.
You see, a problem a lot of us face is that life insurance has become too expensive or even impossible for us to get because of our age or health problems. And without enough life insurance, many of us face a real financial crisis should our spouse die. That's why we're sponsoring a group life insurance plan that everyone between 50 and 75 can sign up for only $5 a month, regardless of their health.
And no one can be turned down?
No matter what their health is like, so long as they're between 50 and 75. We looked at a lot of companies and chose Continental American Life because they offered big dollar benefits at rates nearly everyone can afford. We're really thankful because now all of us have a way to help protect our savings and our security.
We'd like to mail you this free information kit telling you all about this plan. But please don't put it off. Your family's security is just too important to fool around with. Here's how to get it.
Call toll-free 1-800-228-3800. That's 1-800-228-3800. The information kit on this vital coverage Mr. Morgan spoke of will be mailed to you free with no obligation. So call now, 1-800-228-3800. 1-800-228-3800. Operators are standing by. This is a free call.
This is the incredible saga of 20 American boys facing incredible odds.
I'm going to be playing for my dad, but most of all, I'm going to be playing for my country.
Carl Malden.
This moment is yours.
And Andrew Stevens.
But boy, I'd love to go out in a blaze of glory.
The true story of 20 American boys defeating a professional Russian hockey team, carrying their country to victory. Miracle on Ice.
Tonight at 8:30 on Channel 5.
Steve McPartland's here now with all of the sports, and it was a glorious, glorious victory for St. John's.
It was. It was a very big win for St. John's. The victory puts them in a tie with Syracuse for first place in the Big East. Now, should the season end in a tie, then St. John's would get the top seed in next week's Big East tournament, but we'll talk about that at another time. Let's take a look at last night's heroes as St. John's beat Syracuse 86-79. And when St. John's wins, it is inevitable that one hero will be Walter Berry, the truth. He had 27 points last night, including that jam. Willie Glass, number 30, was a big factor in the game. He had 19 points. His defense was outstanding. On the other side, it was the Pearl. Dwayne Washington, he scored a career-high 35 points. A fine effort by him. Not fine enough. St. John's wins it, 86-79. On the ice, when two of the area teams meet, obviously not everyone is going to be pleased. Today, it's New Jersey's turn to be happy. Last night at the Meadowlands, their Devils beat the Islanders 7-2, and let's take a look at that fun. We're in the second period, and it's all tied at 2 apiece. Now, after a Mike Bossy goal, Kenny Donegal comes up with a perfect pass right in front of the crease. Doug Sullivan comes away with the goal. Now, the Devils opened up a 2-goal lead a little later on when Pat Verbeek let a rocket fly past Billy Smith. Mel Bridgman scored 2 of the Devils' 3 third-period goals. New Jersey wins that one easily, 7-2. On the ice tonight, it's a big game for the Rangers. They host Pittsburgh. The Penguins have a 5-point lead on the Rangers in that Patrick Division battle for the 4th playoff spot. The Rangers need a win tonight, and Bill Mazur will have all that action on tonight's 10 o'clock news. Jim.
Okay, thank you very much, Steve. In the AccuWeather forecast, it's clear that winter is still very much with us. The temperature right now is 30 degrees. Winds from the northeast at 8 miles an hour make it feel like 14 degrees. Humidity 32%. Barometer 29.64 and rising. This afternoon should be brisk, cold, and mostly cloudy with a flurry or two and a high mark just at the freezing point. Cold and cloudy tonight with the flurries continuing, the low 20 degrees. Looking ahead to the 5-day forecast, brisk and cold tomorrow with the sun popping in and out. Maybe a snow flurry or two, but nothing to worry about. Partly sunny and continued cold right through the weekend, and a snow flurry might be possible again on Monday. Then we should see the sun on Tuesday.
Ha-ha, so they say. Right about now, Midday Live's waiting in the wings, and here's Bill Boggs to tell us what's on tap. Bill.
These are wings? Thanks, Judy. Well, anyway, we have 2 retired New York superstars, Earl the Pearl Monroe and Rod Rocket Gilbert with us. We also have a face-off on this question. What do you think? Should athletes have to earn minimum scores on college entrance exams? Think about that. Tips on raising a healthy cat. Victor visits an injured person who is getting help from a simian monkey, and that's serious. And we have a lawyer to help you at the end of the show. You can call in to help with your insurance claims problems. That's it.
Okay, thank you very much, Bill, and that's it for First Edition News, too. So there you are. Some stories we're working on for tonight's 10 o'clock news. We're going to find out why Judy was named Mother of the Year just today. The heirs to the Johnson & Johnson fortune are in court today, fighting for a larger piece of the pharmaceutical fortune. We'll have a report. And we'll have more details on the 12-year-old New Jersey girl who's having a heart transplant. Today is the last workday for 150 employees at 3M plant in Bruce Springsteen's hometown. We'll have that story. Barbara Laskin continues her series on women in divorce. Pablo Guzman hits all the high notes of the week in music. Stu reviews a new movie with Treat Williams called, whatever that is, I can't see it over there, Something Talk. Plus Lynn's weather, Smooth Talk. And the amazing sports. I'm Jim Ryan.
This is an eye test. I'm Judy Lake. For all of us here at First Edition News, have a wonderful day, everybody.
Welcome to Midday. Let's have a big welcome for our first 2 guests, New York superstars, both Rocket Rod Gilbert and Earl the Pearl Monroe, together.